What entity oversees humanitarian aid to Gaza and the UN agency UNRWA, which is controlled by Hamas? And I have a follow-up.
So I would reject that interpretation of UNRWA. It is a United Nations agency that provides humanitarian assistance to innocent civilians in Gaza.
The U.S. was the largest donor to UNRWA last year in 2023, giving them a total of $206.8 million U.S. tax dollars.
When the U.S. sends funds to the UN agency UNRWA, who oversees the donations to make sure that the funds are not used for guns and munitions?
So we have strict monitoring programs in place for all of our humanitarian assistance.
Just 4 months before those October 7th terrorist attacks, the Biden administration gave the UN agency UNRWA an additional $154 million to spend as it chose.
UNRWA is providing life-saving work for Palestinians right now. The work that they are doing is essential. It is saving lives.
At least 190 UNRWA workers were Hamas or Islamic Jihad operatives.
What level of terrorist involvement with UNRWA will it take to motivate President Biden to condemn the UNRWA terrorist organization?
So we always condemn terrorism, and I think that's pretty clear just based on what you hear me say from this podium every day. But I do want to reiterate what I said about the life-saving work that UNRWA is doing.
Israeli allegations that a dozen UNRWA workers took part in the October 7th Hamas attack on Israel.
UNRWA textbooks teach that Jews are liars and fraudsters who spread corruption, and that will lead to their annihilation.
We are working with UNRWA to try to identify sites where civilians can go to be safe from harm.
Another raided an Israeli kibbutz, and yet another actually doled out ammunition to Hamas fighters.
We would welcome other countries increasing their levels of support to UNRWA because we really do think the work they're doing is essential.
The U.S. is the biggest donor to the agency, sending $296 million last year alone.
UNRWA has done and continues to do invaluable work to address the humanitarian situation in Gaza.